I am Blaze Bailey. You are experiencing probably the best show in the world, Puppets Corner.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Puppets Corner. Very special and unique one today. We are in the middle of, I guess, LA County, per se. And I'd like to bring on, of course, Dad Ross here and the wonderful Mr. Lance Harrison. Lance, how you doing, man?
How's it going,
thanks for coming
you
on
guys?
the show.
It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Nice little, we haven't seen each other in years. So just
yeah,
figured we'd come up and see how you're doing. So
right down here in the neighborhood in the LBC and Neckbone Studios.
Neckbone.
That's a thing I like to destroy.
What, your neck?
Yeah.
Have you?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm still headbanging strong.
So obviously we've come here just to, to not only to see you, because we haven't seen you in a few years here, but we heard some rumblings of a possible new kind of project and whatnot. And what I'm going with this is what's going on with you right now.
So as of this point right now, a lot of shit has happened, and so I'm a free man. I've still got a band. I've got a bass player and a drummer. You guys know us, you know them. It's Mike and Steve. And at this point, I've got a ton of songs, a million riffs I haven't even touched on yet. Nothing's been recorded yet. Looking for a singer, that's going to be a little bit of a search to find the right guy. But, if all else fails, then maybe I could just do some guest vocals, stuff like that. There's tons of possibilities. The world is wide open. Well, no, the world is totally closed down, but the world for me in this venture is wide open. Just looking forward to the future here and just getting some shit down on tape and, making some stuff happen.
Do you have a lot of songs that you've written that are sort of that you have recorded that you have stored away?
They're all demos. They're all demos, live recordings and stuff like that. And then, some other stuff I've just demoed onto my phone or onto my, little 24 track here. There's a few things on there right now, but I've got so much stuff. It just gets to be kind of a chore, because I've done things so many years a certain way with someone or with someone else. You have a co-writer, and so now I'm just kind of on my own, and it gets a little bit much for me because I'm kind of weird, and I kind of fight with myself.
In your career, have you ever written with a drummer per se and written out songs with just you and him or her?
Yeah, that would be Fabricio, the song Baptized by Fire. We were just jamming this riff I had, and it stuck, and we built it. That one just kind of happened like magic, but that would be Fabricio. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Because guitar players normally write with drummers?
The meat and potatoes of any band to me is guitar player drummer, because you get a good sense of how a song is going to sound
rhythm wise
without having too many cooks in the kitchen per se. It's just like bare bones. Like, this is what it could sound like. Then you bring in all the other people and to put their spin on it. But for me, I always like just working with one-on-one and getting ideas that way. So
yeah, well, I just I come up with my ideas, after work and stuff. And if I don't record my idea, I'll be sitting there with a metronome. If I don't record it, I'll never, ever play that riff again. So I record it. And at this point, I've got a phone full of just, if even 1 out of 10 riffs are good on that phone, I've probably got enough for, 4 albums or something if I just keep building. And I keep coming up with riffs, it just happens in spurts sometimes.
What makes you decide? Do you do the same thing where it's like something comes in and you're like, I want to save that. So you just immediately, you'll turn your phone on and start playing
and play it real quick. Yeah. Before I change it, because like sometimes I just can't, I don't focus.
That's a smart
it's like,
idea.
oh, look, there's a squirrel. and then the riff changes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh crap.
Yeah.
And then I can't get it back. So sometimes I get lucky and I get it down. Sometimes I don't.
Well, I do that with lyrics a lot. It's like I'll have an idea for a line, and if I don't write it down, I'll forget it. And so no, for you, let's even go. There's always been a subject I've kind of wanted to ask you, and is, do you potentially see yourself writing all the lyrics for this new project?
No way in hell, sir.
Because
My stuff would be so weird and so brutal. It'd be like people wouldn't be able to, well, they would comprehend it, but they would just think way less of me.
well, you never know.
Now, is that because you haven't had the experience to do that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's because I'm not, and some of it would be silly if like me, I'm kind of a weird individual, I guess.
But you have a lot of, maybe not writing all the lyrics, but you have ideas as far as what you would want to subject matter you write about.
I've got a ton of song titles too. Got a lot of band names floating around there right now, which I have to that's another part of the project. But the good news is, since the elephant in the room, me being a free man and all that kind of stuff, we've got a couple band names going around. One of them is BOD, and that would stand for Band of Dicks, but I don't think that one's really going to go. That's not going to make it. It could be Blood of Demons. It could be big old, it could be all kinds of stuff, BOD, but that's just kind of goofy. So, it's not serious. I'm just kind of,
I'm sure that will come in time.
I'm goofing around. Well, I've got a lot of better ideas than that for a band name, but
I'm curious. Obviously, you've jammed with Mike for a little bit.
6 years now.
What does he bring more to the table than other drummers in your past catalog?
So with Mike, I've done so many shows with Mike. We've done all the tours, the European tours, South American tours. They've always been like little 2 or 3 dates or one date and come home. We've actually done a lot of tours with Mike. So per capita, I probably played more with Mike, than any other drummer I've played with.
But I'm just saying, what is the chemistry that he brings to the table more so than other drummers in your past? I guess
that he's cool and he drinks beer, and we've had a lot of, fun, and we connect on a different level, not just musicianship. We're just kind of, I don't even have to look at Mike, and I know, if something gets off the rails when you're playing live and the song gets a little off the rails, it's metal, right?
Right.
And we're not Dream Theater. So but I can always just, with Steve and Mike, it's just like, we kind of look at each other, but it's not even really looking at each other, and we always land right there together. And so that's kind of like the connection with Mike. I always know where, if it gets haywire, I know where we're going to go. It's just going to happen. We're just going to land naturally. It's kind of a weird thing.
Would you want 2 guitar players in this specific project with you?
I would never, not, I've played with 2 guitar players a lot. And then I've been forced to just do it on my own. I'm not saying it's a lot of work, because like, what guitar player is going to say, oh, I don't want to play too many solos. Come on.
It's got to be, would it be exhausting just to play both lead and rhythm and stuff?
What's exhausting is getting into the solo on the right note and getting out of the solo right onto the rhythm, right on time. That's what's exhausting, but it's not really, because once you've done it enough, you know where it's going to land, and sometimes it doesn't land, and sometimes you just get back to it.
Yeah.
Well, my thinking of getting 2 guitar players, one of the benefits to it is when you're doing a solo, the rhythm guitar doesn't cut out.
Yeah.
So that's like a lot of bands, depending on how I guess tight or full of a sound that the bass player has, can fill in that sound.
Well, that's what you're saying right there. I have that advantage. I have a guy that fills in that sound,
right,
and still sounds like a bass player.
Well, and it's going to segue into this and whatnot. Is last time we spoke to you, you had told us a story of like the first time you and Steve actually jammed on stage for the first time, but it was like years later, and I never figured out why that was. So if you can just give me some back history just on you and Steve playing together, and then obviously You know,
Okay.
didn't you did like some jam thing
The
or
Metal Jam, Jeff Fonstock. The Metal Jam is a benefit for autism awareness, and I think he donates the money to different charities.
That's awesome.
On different years, you know. But that thing has grown so huge since the very first one. But yeah, so in the beginning, it was me. I learned how to play guitar. Started learning when I was like around 14, 15 years old. And so, you know, Steve wanted to play, but he didn't want to play guitar. So Steve picked up a bass and started learning Geezer and Iron Maiden and, you know, all that kind of cool shit. And of course, Cliff. So Steve was at his little band, and then I was jamming with some guys, and then we just never really, we would jam together at home when I was teaching him like the Trooper or something. And, you know, we never really stuck together because we were both doing other things. And then, you know, years later, I forget what year it was, we played a metal jam together. And that was actually the first time me and Steve played on stage together, and we played the Trooper.
Yeah.
It was pretty freaking awesome. Is it okay to cuss?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah. All right.
All right.
It was fucking awesome.
But so at that point, did you kind of immediately know that you were going to be playing more stuff with your brother at that point?
I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea. So then leading up to, you know, after that, you know, I got this opportunity, and, you know, I did a bunch of demo stuff that would turn into Assassin's War. And so I had done all this stuff on the recorder, and it was like, well, it's got 2 guitars, solos, vocals, and a drum machine. We need some bass on it. Do you know a bass player? And I was like, well, yeah. And, you know, Steve came down, and I just sat there with him in front of the recorder, and I hit record, and I had guitar, and I'd show him things, and then boom, we just punch him in and out, and we recorded stuff. And that was pretty much the beginning. That was in late 2005, early 2006.
Wow.
And that's what led up to, you know, the past 16 years of my life, just kicking ass around the world.
That's awesome to do it with your brother too. You know what I mean?
That's always been the best part of it.
Great chemistry.
And well, not only that, but it's probably an excuse for you guys to get together because, you know, obviously your family.
Yeah.
Like blood, but I'm saying you have now this activity to be like, let's get together and just jam.
And you know, when you're young and you're, you know, still naive and all that stuff, you know, you think the dream, right? Just, yeah, I want to play live. I want to be on albums, and I want to make money. Well, 2 of those things happened. But you know, then reality sets in, and you got to work a freaking job or 2 or 3 jobs. And
yeah,
let me ask you this as a musician here, though. You know, like, what does music give you that's every other activity doesn't? Because I would, it's almost euphoric for me to be playing music. It's something I can't explain. So for you, I mean, you could be like the biggest bowler in the world.
Yeah.
For your activity, but you chose music for your activity or hobby.
Because I get a boner. I do. I get it like a psychological boner.
Right. It probably helps you out with the daily grind, as I call it, man.
People misunderstand metal. You know, people misunderstand what it means to all of us. You know, it's like there's a thing with metal relative to all music that it's just in our souls. You know, the things it relates to different people in different ways, but still the same song. 100 different people could hear it and feel it different ways, but they all love it because it's kind of in our soul. So then being able to create music, that's really a cool thing about it, you know, and then to have people even give a crap, you know, and you see those people in the front row, he's just going off.
So I know you touched upon that you had a lot of riffs and whatnot. For this new project, is it a continuation of what you had been doing in the past 16 years, or is there something more that you want to add to this that you haven't been able to do on any previous stuff?
Not really. No, it's going to be me. It's going to be, you know, what I do. You know, I'm not Vivaldi. I'm not, you know, anything really spectacular. But the one thing I do have in my magazine is heart.
Right.
A lot of heart.
Well, that's where the conviction comes for a lot of players and a lot of your fans and whatnot, you know, who are fans of Lance Harrison.
Yeah.
They all remember the heart and, you know, but what is, like, I guess going forward and whatnot with this. If so, I'm going to hypothetically say you have 2 guitar players.
Yeah.
Right?
Never know. Hey,
hypothetically,
then it's gonna, it could transform, because if you have someone to write with, then they've got their little riff that, like, you're stuck on this spot and they're like, oh, let's do this, and then boom, you got it. It's like you make a cupcake, then you got to frost it, and then you put some sprinkles on it, and then you give it to the fans.
And obviously we're all big into metal. It's no secret and whatnot, but what is a kind of singer that you would like to have for this particular project? Is it like a singer? Is it more of a gritty kind of, what kind of singer are you looking for?
Shit, that's kind of a hard question. Rob Dukes, I love that guy. Give that guy a lot of credit. He stepped into Exodus and some really cool shit. Guys like Rob, someone that's just got that raw emotion, that you could almost hear them salivating when they're talking about eating flesh or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could feel the guy's words.
Do you feed off that with that when it's that kind of energy and stuff? Do you feed off
yeah,
that as a
totally.
musician?
See, that's the thing people misunderstand about metal. They think, oh, it's so violent. It's not violent. It's the violence of the metal that keeps people from getting violent, because if they were left in their own little head, they might go out and do some violence, but you sit there and listen to metal and it actually relaxes. Well, at least me, it relaxes me.
Well, there's scientific studies that have proven that.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one here.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to hypothetically say this, would this be a touring project for you, or would this be just like because you've never had your own thing, as I call it.
Yes.
This is now your own thing. So you're going to have to take more of the what is it? You're going to have to be the
boss.
Yeah.
And starting from the ground up too. So, pretty much.
But the one thing you have that others don't are people that really
a little bit of a legacy
that truly love you and want to help you out and give you the connections and But then it's all a matter of you utilizing those connections. And a lot of people, no offense, that are in your specific age group and have done a lot of stuff, they don't ever take advantage of it.
So you're talking about us old farts?
Yeah.
Okay. But no, so anyway, your question, what was the, what's the plan as far as touring and all that crap goes? I mean, I would love it. I would love it if this lifestyle never changed. But at this point right now, with what's going on, and I'm not going to say the word, but this whole fucking world is fucked up right now. The whole world. Anyone who's out there able to do it right now, got to give it to them. But there's a lot of people out there that are just, sticking to home ground.
Yeah.
Obituaries on tour right now. You've got fucking Exciters. Dan and the boys are out there in South America right now, man. I see they're doing really good.
Yeah, but I think everyone, regardless of where you're at, whatever country, there's a lot of paranoia about going and attending things and doing stuff. And it's like, when is that going to stop? When is it going to be normal? Or will it ever be normal again?
No, this fucked. I mean, it fucked a lot of people on their jobs and their way of life. But the metal community and concerts and all the stuff we love doing, I mean, that seems to be a long, far way away still. It's like
a bit suppressed just because you can't really go out and perform, I think. And I think that's about, you can write and do all that stuff at home and, have a big catalog that you schedule, but it's like, when are you going to be able to go out and play shows and do that? And, again, a lot of venues, we lost venues that closed down. Or
what about the big festivals?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, Hellfest will be back. That you can't put that one down, but like they've been gone for what, 2 years now? How much money did they lose?
Sure. And the restrictions that are placed on you actually having to go and tour and do things with other countries, especially.
Yeah.
But even locally and stuff, it's,
even locally, it's, kind of horrible right now. It's like, you need to give up your freedom to have freedom. It doesn't seem like freedom to me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's restricted on what you're able to do. And
well, let's even go to, this point and whatnot. So obviously you're in the midst of getting this new project off the ground and whatnot. So what is going to be your first step? Because in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or tell me I'm full of shit or whatever, but I would think you would have to have like a record just right out of the gate, at least written, and then have somebody come in just to put the vocals on it, and then properly. I mean, you're gonna have to come out of the gate swinging. That's
well, I
all
mean,
it is.
I'm gonna come out of the gate swinging, but there's steps before that too. I mean, it's really kind of hard to get together with the guys right now. That's always a factor.
And are you currently working with them, obviously writing the material? Because again, you said you had tons of riffs and whatnot. Are you slowly putting it together
all the
right now?
stuff that I'm working on just by myself. I start to work on the riffs, and then I build the parts, all by myself. And then I bring it to the guys. I bring it to Mike. We start to get something solid. If it's cool, we record it. If it's not, we'll just,
shelf it for the time
shelf
being.
it for a little while.
Yeah.
And then, for sure, an album, I don't know. I mean, it could be a long EP. I don't know what you would call something that's in between an EP and an album. I mean, I've got that amount of material right now, definitely ready to go.
I'm excited to hear that.
We just need to, get in and record it. But, to do that, we have to be able to rehearse, which, with all of us working, 5 days a week, it's kind of hard to get together. Sometimes.
I forget you guys are like one of those kind of bands, because there's obviously so many types. I mean, you could utilize technology more in this situation.
Yeah, but how the hell do you do that? I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. So there's different kinds of bands,
Yeah. So like these guys doing the Zoom jams and stuff like that. Like, how does that even work?
Well, not only that, but it's like you record your part, you send the file over, they record their part, and you're not even in the same room. So,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's kind of cool. I understand that.
You might have to utilize technology right now to help you out,
True. I mean, there's so much stuff at our disposal right now, but the live setting or the person-to-person thing has always kind of been more.
Well, it's more intimate for sure.
You get more done. You get a lot more done, because then you're able to say, that's not working, and maybe try this, or maybe my what I'm doing here isn't working, so let's change me up a little bit. It's a process.
I do agree that with the technology and stuff, there's always opportunity if you can do it. Because I know what you're talking about with jamming, watching each other online and playing stuff, and maybe there is an opportunity to do that, where even if you're at a distance, you could still, you be up to date, and as opposed to like, we can't get together for 2 weeks, but we can jam online, and we can at least
that'd be great, because
not only that, but having a goal, like be like, hey, we're not going to jam for 2 weeks, but hey, Lance, at least record the part and then send it to me so I can keep jamming on my own or something. Again, you might have to. I mean, change is hard. I get it, but you might have to in this case.
And there's a lot of programs that are online that
correct.
Like what are they? Like,
what is one where we could
just like Zoom stuff?
Zoom call?
Like you record the part with a click and using Logic.
Oh, well, I've got that. I could just send it with my
that's what I'm saying.
phone,
okay. Well, again, I'm just saying, like, you can send it to him. He can at least jam it in the meantime and think of ideas.
Yeah.
Then you guys come together and be like, oh, I like this. Don't like this. Let's utilize this and this.
So you could listen to it together on a Zoom call.
Well, yeah, but you can get work done without even being in the same room, I guess is my whole thing.
Yeah.
Which might be one of the only things you can do nowadays, is until you're able to. And it's not easy distances. I get that too.
Yeah. And gas prices.
Now,
yes.
Now, speaking of touring, who are some of the bands that you would kind of like to tour with that you haven't gotten the opportunity to do a tour with, or maybe because you've played a show with them here and there? But
that'd be a lot. But definitely going out with Raven would be a lot of fun again. I love those guys. Exciter. We've done a couple little short things with Exciter. It was actually in Brazil, but it was before Dan came back to Exciter. Dan's a great guy. Dudes from Razor, Blood Feast. Anything we could do would be great. I just love touring. It's a lifestyle. It's not for everybody. It'll weed out the weak. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably at our age, I mean, without aging us too much.
I'm not letting age even come into this equation, because, I'm not dead yet.
Well, it's hard to travel. I just think that, I mean, sometimes you get tired and but then again, if you got a love for the music, it doesn't really matter. So
when you're on tour, you already are tired.
Yeah.
It's just what when those, when the intro comes on, you got your guitar on.
Yep.
It just, all of a sudden, there's something that comes out of you.
Can I ask you this, because you've had so much experience playing huge festivals in front of a lot of people? how do you specifically approach that kind of show compared to, say, a show down the street from here, like a club show?
You know what? To me, it's all the same. It doesn't matter if there's a rail down there and everyone's like way down there and I'm 10 feet up. I still connect. I mean, I look right at you. Look right at you and make a guitar face.
That's what I want to see.
You
too,
connect. You connect with people. They love that.
But how do you do it when there's 40,000? Because you only look in a club show. I get it, because there's like, they're all right in front of you, but these other people that are just way in the back, how do you specifically approach that?
Well, all I do is I just hit my E chords harder and let the PA do all the work. You know what I'm saying? You got to let the sound carry.
That's great.
And can we get into some fun aspects of your specific career? And just, I want to ask this, can you give me, what's one of your favorite festivals that you've kind of have ever played, and the story of like, even going around town? And because I know, are you one of these musicians that likes to walk around the town that you're in to kind of get a sense of the vibe of it? So if you're in France or Spain or something, you walk around before the gig?
Every once in a while. Yeah. If you're in a nice place and, you got to be careful where you are sometimes. You never know. But it's so crazy. As far as the killer shows I've played, excuse me, probably the biggest one would be Quito Fest. And I think they were projecting that was probably over 30,000 people for sure. And that was on the tarmac of the old Quito airport in Ecuador. We actually played Ecuador a couple years before that, and we had flown into that airport. And then we came back, play this Quito Fest, and that was huge. It was amazing. But like people as far as you could see, that's great. And then a couple weeks before that, we played something called Convivencia del Rock Fest, and that was in Pereira, Colombia. They were projected that was probably 25,000. And so I'm always smoking cigarettes, and I'd go down backstage. I'd travel up the little stairs up to the stage of the band before us. And I looked out the crowd, and it was as far as you could see. There was people. The biggest show we ever played to date. And I was like, oh, crap. I didn't bring extra underwear today. And so I went down to the guys, and I was like, hey, man, you guys aren't going to believe how many people are out there. So they were like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. They were all cool. And then when they got up there with me, we all just kind of looked at each other, and I said, uh-huh.
Yeah, that's so great. What a great feeling, though,
But yeah, then there's so many other festivals we played. Hellfest was amazing. We played the same day as Slayer played that night. We got to hang out all day. We didn't have to leave till late in the night after the festival was over. Bang Your Head played that with Twisted Sister, same day as Twisted Sister the first time. And then the second year we played it, except headlined it. That was great. But I got to sit there front row and scream till my voice was gone every Twisted Sister song I know. Headbangers Open Air, Uncle Tom's Farm. That's a great one too. Just the passion of the people,
Now, the best country, I wouldn't even say best, your favorite country to have gone to so far in your career, what is it, and what is the vibe that particular country provided that maybe others didn't?
I can't really say I've got a favorite. I mean, I love all of South America. We've been from Tijuana all the way down to the tip of Chile. And Chile has always been great for us. Argentina is great. Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia was great. That was insane. Man, that was scary. But anyway, it was cool.
Scary how?
Oh, so they had these little flame things on the front of the stage.
Okay.
And they were kind of right up there, right? It was crazy. It was anyway. When they shot off, and they didn't tell you when they were going to shoot off, they didn't let you know. They were operating that, not us. And when that shit would go off, it'd just be like, whoa, okay.
A little warm.
It was pretty awesome though. But then we were up on this stage that was 12 feet up, one way up and one way down, this little skinny set of stairs.
It's not a fire hazard or anything.
And
like
then
that.
there's these curtains hanging up on the ceiling. This is like some old building that just was repurposed. And yeah, so then we got flames, curtains, one way out. You know, it was
it's a great white situation.
I didn't want to say that because that's a tragic situation, but
awful.
Yeah, I try to look at things like, you know, what to do in case of, you know, oh shit.
Right. Well, that's a big, I mean, not a lot of people think about that when it comes to.
Oh no, I'm always watching out, you know, for our safety.
I just watched that documentary like 4 or 5 times because it was hard for me to get through it the first time. And
yeah, I haven't even watched it.
But the thing is that the one thing I took away from it, anytime I go into a club or anything, I'm gonna look for exits.
Of course,
just in case. Like I don't want to.
You never know. I mean, if there's pyro involved, you know, it's turned out a little bit iffy for a few really big bands. You know, people have been hurt.
Right.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. You know, maybe something's a little different this night. You're not where you're supposed to be standing, and all of a sudden, pop. You know, you got flames right up your ass, and it's not a fun.
What about the bizarre location for Obscene Extreme?
Oh,
was that like weird?
Dude,
Obscene Extreme was amazing. No, well, I mean, it was a battlefield from World War II. That was cool in itself, you know, just to know the history of that hill.
Yeah.
But then the people, you know, I mean, they're so
nice.
Yeah, no, totally killer. But like there was even like so much weird shit going on.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
The guys like dressed as Jesus Christ. We saw these 2 guys both wearing white robes. And I didn't see this personally with my own 2 eyes, but one of the guys in the band said, "Hey, those 2 guys have their wieners tied together and they're just walking like this." Like, I don't understand that. Okay, so that's pretty bizarre. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah,
like
because
shit?
It's a European.
Wait, I want to know
I
how
mean,
you
inflatable
peeing, I've got
that...
to pee right now, but I'm not European. It's not a European thing. That was just something that was a little weird.
Yeah. That is weird.
I want to go back. How do you even get in that position?
What position?
To play there? Or?
No, I'm talking. You said you.
Because we're hanging out.
Hold on. Don't start saying hanging out and then
he's talking about your units.
No, that wasn't me. How did those guys get in that?
Yeah. How do you do?
Don't ask me.
Now I'm genuinely curious.
I wasn't one of them.
I'm not curious.
I don't even
might
need
be
to
a might be a European thing.
But just the vibe from the place with just it's just so bizarre. I know it's a lot of grindcore music and stuff.
Yeah. And we were on that and we kicked ass. They fucking loved it.
Yeah. And that's that neat little like elevated area and stuff. And,
and it goes down.
But it's muddy and dirt and just people don't care. And
shit, Brutal Assault was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's a fortress built in the 1500s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Brutal
I'll have to
Assault.
look into that.
It's they hold it in the fortress.
Okay.
And there's a big stage. There's the medium stage we played with a big ass tent. And then there's a little side stage. You know, it's kind of like a lot of the big festivals. They have like 3. Sometimes they double up on the stages, 2 big stages. So between bands, they just boom, boom. And then the same with the medium stages. That was Hellfest. 2 medium stages, then 2 giant stages. And a lot of the big festivals do it like that. And then so there's always a band playing. So as soon as you're done, there's another band ready to go. Then as
that
soon
always
as
made it tough when we would go to, like, even if it's just for Glen Helen, but it's like, shit, we got to get over to this place. And do we skip this band to see that band? And
those guys know what they're doing. And then all you got to do is just run a half a mile over to the other big stage, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that I think they need to really take care of at these festivals, kind of makes me sound weird, but the beer line. Why is there always such a long beer line?
Well, it's always expensive too.
Well, who cares about that? I just want beer and I just want beer fast. So expand the beer tents, you know, make sure that, or just have some dude walking around with a keg on his back and just filling you up.
That would be ingenious, dude.
Yeah. Or like Vakken. I hear Vakken had a beer company pipe in fresh beer to the festival.
There's a pipeline for beer.
Yeah. That's fucking amazing.
Fucking awesome. Is that possible? Yeah, they made it happen.
Vakken.
Yeah.
Why not? You know. Now let's go to let's go to this and whatnot. So where you're at nowadays, I'd like to still touch upon what's going on with you and whatnot. And if obviously we have tons, you have a lot of love and support in your corner right now. And, and I want to ask you this.
People are coming out of the woodwork for sure.
I want to ask you this. On behalf of all the fans, what is the one thing you want to say to all of them that are watching this? And you know, obviously this is your opportunity to speak to the fans.
That's
directly.
easy. That's easy. Just thank you guys and girls, you know, metal brothers and sisters and everybody from bringing their kids to the show, and we watch them grow up over the years, and just thank you. You know, thank you for everything. It's like, it's kind of surreal, you know, that people give a shit.
Well, but what can they expect? I guess
all they can expect is I'm not going away soon. And, you know, I've got some stuff in the works, and it's going to be what I do. It's going to be what I've been doing. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fast. And, you know, a lot of stuff, I've got some more stuff, you know, that's like, it's not really what you would expect. It's like more melodic. I don't know. I don't really gauge metals into these categories because there's too fucking many categories now. But you know, I can't really say it's like melodic thrash or it's fucking, you know, Tracy's tampon. I don't know. It's like fucking, I just expect what you would get from me, what I've been doing, because it's all kind of the same stuff. It's what I do. It's like the AC/DC of thrash, if you could call me thrash.
Who would you like to produce this? Can we even go to there hypothetically?
That's a, you know, loaded question. You know, I mean, you know, there's guys that I love. There's guys I've worked with before, and any of those three guys, you know, would be capable. And yeah, I trust them with the, you know, with the final product. But, you know, then there's hurdles to jump, and then there's also toes not to step on. And, you know, there's certain things I'm kind of pigeonholed into a certain situation. But then again, you know, do I really give a crap? I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question, but you know, I've got options. Let's just leave it at that. I've got options.
So obviously we've talked about the producing side of things and who you would like to work with and you know, the new project and whatnot, the sounds of it. But I'm generally curious when it comes to even wanting to tour different places and whatnot. Where would you like to start with this?
You know, definitely California. You know, I mean, our home here. You know, you got to start in California. LA is still the legendary scene. You know, Frisco, of course.
Do you think LA is really still that place? I mean,
I don't know if it still is. I mean, but you know what I mean? In history, in the history books.
Well, sure. But I'm talking
so
now.
Then it's still got that nostalgia to it. I mean, for me, growing up here, you know, of course, it's still a great place. Texas has always been fun. You know, New York. Never been to Florida. I'd love to go down there and hang out with my bros from Obituary and have some beers. You know, play with those guys again. We played with them at Brutal Assault.
Okay.
We got to hang out there and be up on the stage and watch those guys do their things. And they're fucking such great guys, you know. Terry, Trevor, all of them, and they're just sweethearts. See, that's a funny thing about being in a band, and you know, you got all these, the black metal, the death metal, and you got all these different bands. They wear makeup, they wear costumes, whatever. They look so much different when they're on stage. The whole image, everything is so expanded. And then, you know, they come off stage or you're hanging out with them after the show and they're just regular freaking dudes. We're all just regular fucking dudes. We're just in circumstance and doing what we love, you know, and it just seems to be bigger than life. But really, we're just regular dudes.
A lot of people don't know that and usually will have some image that they're dark or whatever. So
yeah,
I want to just share a quick 20-second. When Tanner was young, him and I ended up backstage at the observatory, right?
The Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. And Cannibal Corpse was playing. And
it was on the Kill tour.
So we
So
get
this is 2006.
Yeah. So we anyway, we get our opportunity when the security guy walks away to go stop a pit or something going on. We're gonna beeline for the door.
Uh-huh.
And I said, listen, when we get in the back, just mix in with people, and they won't even know.
Act
They're not gonna ask
natural.
you act natural. So it's an opportunity because we had seen the guy go a couple times. So this time, okay, he goes. We beeline. It's this empty hallway. We get down there. I said, when we get in the back, just kind of mix in and stuff. We get in the very back. There was nobody back there. Maybe one or two people from other bands. There's a couch. There's no one back there. We're standing back there like it was a total Wayne's World moment. The Cannibal Corpse finishes the set. We're waiting. We're like, oh my gosh, we might get to meet, the band and stuff. They come off stage. Eventually, we run into George Fisher.
Okay.
Massive, he's all neck and just brutal, and we start talking to him, and the reason that they played that show was because they got canceled by the House of Blues Anaheim because of either the album covers, the lyrical whatever, but they didn't dig it, so they bumped him.
Yeah.
So I made a comment to George, and I go, look, it's kind of a bummer that you guys got bumped from the House of Blues things and stuff, and he was the most friendly, fucking articulate, nicest guy in the world. He's like, well, my family has passes for Disney World in Florida because that's where we're from, and yeah, it's unfortunate that this and this. And I was like, this guy's the fucking coolest guy in the world, but you would never know that until you get an opportunity to meet them and talk with them. And I think that's to your point with that.
Totally.
You really got to meet the musicians and know that they're actually down to earth people, and they're all good people.
They're just people.
Yeah.
And mind you, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was 8 or 9 o'clock. They got finished at like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're tired. I'm sure.
I thought that they were tired. Like, we didn't want to, like, it was that Wayne's World moment. It's like, we just wanted to say, hey, and thanks. It was a great show and whatever. And then we're going to, and he told us we could hang out and stuff. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. We got to meet Alex Webster.
Alex is one of my favorite dudes.
One of the best bass players ever.
Oh my God.
So
You've seen the guy play. He's that amazing.
So anyway, back to if you go to Florida, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'd love to play Florida.
Yeah.
Just because I've never been there.
Probably a great music scene, and yeah.
I'd love to play North Carolina. I mean, that'd be freaking great. New York, it'd be great to go back to New York, Wisconsin, with all the cheeseheads. I mean, man, there's so many places I've been. I'd love to go back to. But yeah, I mean, just as far as the future goes, that as I have no control over what's going on, and I just have to let it play out. You know what I mean? It's right now. It's just, it is what it is. And looking towards the future, if it opens back up, I'll go anywhere.
Well, okay. So I get where you're kind of coming from as far as not having control for the outside world, but for your little world, you have a lot more control.
Oh man, I can't wait to get back up on stage, dude. There's a what do you call it? A teapot. It's already whistling at this point. Like, surprised you guys can't hear it.
Get out there.
There's not the crazy in my eyes till right now.
That's so great. It's gonna be.
But
good.
I have to hold that guy back. That guy only comes out once I put on them wristbands and that chain.
All right.
And then I'm a different person. I love that guy.
We all
I wish I could be that cool all the time, but obviously take a look at me and hear it right now.
You are that cool.
I'm just a regular dude.
Now, I don't know how much you want to explain as far as what kind of artworks would you like to play around with? What kind of artists would you like to work with as far as your album covers?
That's actually a really good question. So, kind of the same kind of stuff. This time I'm in charge of the direction of it, but just things that are like not so much gory, but like war, battlefields, warriors, swords, blood, dead carcasses, all that fun shit like that. Like, definitely stuff like that. Even, mystical kind of stuff like, legends and, anything like that. It's as long as it looks cool and it's brutal, it might be scary for kids, but hey, that's kind of cool if it's not real. It's just a drawing.
But that would still tie into a lot of the music that you'd be writing, title wise and song wise.
Totally. Yeah. Like a knife on a stick.
Heavy.
Actually, the meaning of knife on a stick is it's a bayonet. That's what they call the bayonet. It's a knife on a stick. And that's actually a funny little song title I came up with, but it's kind of silly, but knife on a stick sounds cool as fuck.
Sounds like something I would order. Like,
oh, totally. You could buy them in Florida and North Carolina, probably. Like literally, you could buy a knife on a stick. I don't know what they use them for.
It sounds like you go to like Costco or something and stand in line for a knife on a stick.
You
I don't know.
Hey, a knife on a stick, but no, I don't think you want to eat the Costco knife on a stick. It sounds really tough and chewy.
Yeah. They're hard to digest.
Yeah.
So obviously we touched upon producing side, the artwork side, potential band names,
Everything brutal.
just like
Just brutal. It's got to be brutal.
well,
You know what I mean? I've got a certain thing to live up to at this point.
You do, man. And
I'm not going to come out as the pink strawberries or some shit like that,
well, just know that you have our support here.
Oh, I love that. I love that too. But do you support the BOD name, the Band of Dicks?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. Okay, so I thought it was stupid.
Well, I don't
too.
think you guys are dicks, but BOD could stand for a lot of things.
Well, I mean,
I like the Blood of Demons one. That's cool.
Blood of Demons. That works good too.
That's
I
good.
like that
I
one
like
too.
that.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Right next to the other BOD. But that was just kind of a joke, is because the situation right now. But
You guys
whatever.
are awesome.
So where do you guys typically rehearse and whatnot?
Well, we used to have a rehearsal studio. We lost that in the breakup. So we have the studio at Budwig, at Steve's shop. We have that little studio. And so that's me and Steve, you wouldn't believe it, but Steve plays drums.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He's hilarious.
Now,
But he could play.
do you and Steve typically write together? So do you and him, obviously you're more ingrained with Steve because you work with him and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have more time with, and it's just obviously convenient that he's playing with you and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Then I work with him and
Right. So I'm
riff.
assuming you'd be like, hey, I got this killer riff idea and can we jam along to it, on so-and-so night or something and jam along. And then does he help you banter with what's good and what's not?
So it's kind of the other way around. So there's a few things. I've got one new song right now, and it came from one of Steve's riffs. But then I just kind of like, Steve will play me something like, check this out. And then I'll be like, oh, that's good. Okay, do this. And then what do you got next? And then he'll come up with something. And I was like, okay, so just end it like this. And then I'll piece it together for him and we'll jam it. We've got a song right now. I'm not going to say what it is, but sometimes Steve comes to me. When I go to Steve, I don't really even teach Steve the stuff until it's a song. I got to work it all out with Mike first. And then once it's a song, it's played the same every time. And then I'll teach Steve and then just let Steve just do his thing with it.
What city does Mike live in?
Mike is in, I believe he's in NoHo. He's up there in North Hollywood. He works at MIT.
But that's SoCal. I mean, with the exception of traveling to go see Steve, Mike and Mike could head down there, right?
Well, yeah, that was the good thing about being in where we were here in the LBC, is that it was kind of halfway
Central.
point. Steve had to drive further than anybody, but for Mike, it was not that too far to go. But you got to add an hour onto 2 hours for Mike to get up to San Diego, and then plus he works.
Yeah.
So we got to do it on a weekend. Well, I work through the week and then I come home on the weekend. So then, there's a lot of little chips that got to fall into place.
Yeah.
Now,
So as far as that goes, we need to get a lockout. That'd be great. But right now, can we afford it? Hell no.
so what is the next step for you personally in terms of this band? Do you want, obviously you got the guys, you're obviously looking for what, certain members, the band name and whatnot, but in terms of actually putting this down on record, where are you at?
First thing is band name that we all agree on that, sounds cool. It's not too goofy. Band name, copyright that, trademark, whatever, all that kind of good stuff. Publishing, all that good stuff. I'm starting from ground zero, I mean, I'm a newbie to this shit. So, I got a lot to learn. I got a lot to do. And, that's step one. The music is already there. But I've got to secure some things that make it for real. If you kind of know what I'm saying, exactly what I'm saying. I think that's probably a good plan.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan.
That's, the first thing, all the legal crap. Management would be another key, because, I just, I don't have the contacts, I mean, I do have some contacts, but then the stepping on toes thing again. But, management, someone with some power and some contacts, which I know a few guys, I know some guys, local guys, all probably willing to help. And, then after that, it's about the music. While all this is going on behind the scenes, looking for a singer, auditioning guys, I mean, I've got some great songs to audition guys with, Black Smoke, Gallows Pole is a great one, because one thing about that is a little bit different. Gallows Pole, it's one of my favorite songs to play live. But the way that one is sung is kind of halfway point in the direction I'd be looking for a singer, in between both things that I'm used to right now that I love. I've been for 16 years doing one thing. So, I'm looking for something I'm used to, but then of course it's got to be its own thing. So, just to put it that way, but Gallows Pole would come into more of the melodic type stuff I do,
Now here's a question for you. Obviously, you've mentioned the past, I'm going to say 20 years at this point. How would you do things different in this band? Because you're going to obviously be running it. This is your thing. How are you going to want to do this different than, say, your past and what you've learned from that, and apply it to what this thing is?
I really have no idea. Just because, there's been good times and there's been bad times. There's been things when, we pull up to a hotel, or, we get on, it's just, there's been good times, and then there's been times where it was just shit. If I could just do it to where there was none of these shit times, is that going to happen? Probably not. But, what I mean? I'm prepared for anything. And as far as I would like it to go, would be everything nice and smooth, and, free beer, food, stuff like that. Beer's pretty important in this business.
Well, I'm not even talking that aspect.
Money.
I'm talking internally wise, with you 3 or 4 or 5 of you.
Yeah.
How are you wanting to run this differently than what has been run in your career?
Well, I want to be a fucking tyrant. I want to be feared. I want people to fucking have to change their shorts after they talk to me.
I don't see that in his eyes. I see him as the nice, lovable guy that's,
Hey, you know what? It's all up in the air still right now, Tanner. But yeah, of course, I'm going to be me, so just hope that, everything runs smooth. I mean, that's all I want. I mean, I've got a grease gun. If the wheel's squeaking, I'm going to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Well, there's good resources too that are all obviously available.
Yeah, I've got people coming out of the woodwork. Good. I've got a lot of cool people, a lot of great support, a lot of friends around the world. Friends. I get ridiculed, not ridiculed, but told, because I tell people I love them a lot. Like, I love you. I've learned that.
Well, we love you too. So
yeah, when I say that, when I call you brother, or when I say brother, I love you, because you're just leaving, right? I don't say goodbye. I say I love you. It's because, through my life, since I was a young kid, I've had a lot of friends die. And, I never got to tell them I loved them. I never got to tell them goodbye, even sometimes, so I tried to stay away from saying goodbye. And I just, if I connect with a person on that level, I let them know I fucking love you. And if I say I love you, I fucking mean it. Yeah. It's that simple. It's not
that's
gay
awesome.
love kind of thing, or it's
here's a question for you. You've been mentioning finding singers and whatnot. Would you ever potentially take over the vocal mic and have another guitar player backing you?
No. You know what I would like? I would like to find a guitar player singer.
Okay.
That would scribble out, an extra member.
Yeah.
And that's a cut in the money too.
Well, not only that, but
I'm just kidding. That was a business thing. It just kind of flowed in there.
But having that having that dynamic would probably be more beneficial, because you then
Hell
the
yeah.
guitar player knows where you're coming from. You probably can know where they're coming from, and they have to obviously sing over it. So you're gonna be working that
guitar player
dynamic
singer.
and
That'd be a great idea right there. I've thought of that.
It takes a lot to both sing and play at the same time, I can imagine.
Exactly.
You know?
Well,
I mean, that's not easy to do.
Sure, man. And well, I mean, anyone that kind of wants to contact you directly regarding these things,
good idea.
You know, where can people, and obviously, you know, this is the point of the show where we'd like to thank you for coming and hanging with us and having us at your humble abode here. And and you know, obviously speaking with us and letting the fans know what's going on in your world. So thank you very much for having us. But where can people find you and say they want to even just jam with you? Or
super easy. So I'm going to give you guys everything. So on my Facebook, I have 3 of them, but the one you're looking for, I believe, is Lance Shredrick Harrison. That'd be my first one. Then there's a Lance Shredrick Harrison too. I'm not on there much. Don't contact me there. Then I have my regular email, which is shred_baron@hotmail.com. And if you really want to just keep it easy, just type in Lance Harrison at hotmail.com. Contact me on any of those 3 places. And I would love that if someone would get a hold of me and, you know, start getting this ball rolling. If you're a guitar player, singer, if you're just singer, you know, I could fill the guitar duties myself for now. But yeah, that's how you get a hold of me. And other than that, hey, Neckbone Studios welcomes you guys anytime.
Appreciate you, man.
And I think I'm ready for another beer from that little the nuclear fallout shelter beer shelter there.
All right, here you go, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Well, we're obviously going to hang out after this, but you know, Lance, thank you so much for having the show here. That's empty. Don't worry about it.
Thank you guys for coming down, man. It's been a while. You know,
so great
we've all been isolated and going through this weird time in our lives. Like, could you even imagine if someone said we were going to go through this? Could you even imagine what it would be like? And then here we are.
It feels like a void for probably if someone said, you know, you're going to like skip the 2-3 years of your life, and then you're going to come back and you're going to age a little bit, and this is what's going to happen. And then, you know, you may or may not have a job, or you know,
or you're going to lose 1 or 2 of them out of the 3,
and your friends, you might lose some friends along the way, and
over stupid shit.
And so, you know, there's been a lot of back and forth as far as the right things to do and whatever. And it seems to me like things are sort of coming back to the as close to normal as possible. But you know, I mean, one of the things I think the 3 of us live for is being able to go out, get to shows, see people. And
well, I mean, one thing about, you know, metal, and one thing I've noticed, you know, a lot of people that are friends are fighting, you know, over stupid shit. Like, okay, you're free to believe what you believe. I'm free to believe what I believe. And we used to be able to talk about these things over a beer and say, hey, fuck you. I don't like what you think. Hey, fuck you. I don't like what you think. But then we're still fucking friends because we're free to think that. And that has changed. Right now, everyone is they're so high up on their level of the different things that now you're making enemies. It's like, why would it be like this unless this is all designed to be like this? It's kind of, as a metal community, I think one thing for sure, we are better than this.
Yeah.
We're better than this.
We don't ever act like it. But again, I'm not even going to get in political horseshit.
No, I'm not getting political. I'm trying to stay away from that. All I'm saying is,
well, because this whole pandemic thing has happened, has really shown who people really are online, especially. So if you're watching, you know who you are.
Yeah, well, it's real easy to freaking type some shit until someone comes up and punch you in the fucking mouth. That's the way we used to handle shit.
Not only that, but I would never push my political ideas on somebody.
No. But then again, you're free to do that, but you don't push them on people.
Well, hold on a second.
You're free to have your opinion.
Something called agree to disagree. And as much as you do that, that's how you have to end it with, is to be civil about it.
Well, hold on a second. There used to be, but it seems like a lot of even the legends that I used to look up to have spoiled it, and I can't listen to their said band anymore. Don't want to support them because of their political horseshit. So just focus on the music. And I'm really looking forward to what you have coming up in terms of music wise. So Lance, love you, man. Thanks very much for having us and the show here. And another episode of Popper's Corner, guys. We're out of here.
Metal.
Cheers.